When we talk about your target audience, this is really where it all starts. If I'm going to proactively try and drive leads into my business, who do I want to target? And understanding that target type customer is difficult. It's difficult in that, as I mentioned earlier, you probably have a varied breadth of different types of customers that you deal with. I'm sure some are a headache, but a lot of them are very good. And so how do I define which ones do I want? So really, let's start with your existing customer base and think about who are your best customers that you have today. Who pays on time, who's happy with the results that you deliver, who do you have a great relationship with, who's been a long-standing customer with you, and then ask the question, why did they buy from you? Why do they continue to do business with you? And you may not be able to answer that yourself, but go ask them. Your existing customers are one of your best sources of information, yet we tend to not have that discussion with them. And when you understand why they purchase from you and why they maintain a relationship with you, that is all part and parcel of the process that we're going to build on the sales side and how we interact with net new customers and prospects as we try and drive them into our business and sign contracts with them. Now, look at your customers. Can we start to segment them into groups? Maybe we've got the large spenders, the mid-range spenders, and the small spenders. Maybe we have sensitivity to downtime. Maybe we have the type of infrastructure that you manage with them. How you segment is really an open book, and your channel sales specialist can help you with that to get you a better understanding of how you want to look at your customer base, because in each of those groups, you may have the best customers, the mid-range and the lower end. So again, we can start to qualify and start to build out a target audience on a few different levels. And then leverage those ideal customers as your target market. How do we go replicate and find those new opportunities in the marketplace? And that's really the $1 million question. Leads are always difficult to generate, but the more that you put your name out there, the more that you put your brand out there, and the more that you put a message into the marketplace that drives relevant value, the more that you will get the opportunity to speak to those prospects. Now, when I talk to a lot of service providers, I say, are you in any specific verticals? And their answer to me is not really. We do have service providers, obviously, who are very specific to one or two vertical, and that works extremely well for them. But when you look at your base, you probably already are in some fashion in a vertical or two. Maybe we can start to exploit that. Moving into verticals is extremely lucrative, but it does take a lot of work to penetrate it. But what's interesting is that there's a commonality in the way that they all do business. And what we get is what we call horizontal growth. And horizontal growth is where after we're into that industry, we start to get passed through the supply chain. So I'll give you an example. If we're dealing with a medical clinic and there's some compliance or regulatory concerns, there's a potential that we can start to expand out to suppliers of that medical firm because they would have the similar regulations, similar needs, and similar concerns. So as a result, we start to branch out more, and that pass-through business becomes more of a controlled referral. So again, looking at those types of programs, work with us as your vendor to help you build out a structure around that, because if we can get you into some verticals or into more defined target markets, you will tend to see a greater level of success in your sales.